Welcome back. So, though this particular session is for grade 7 and 8, but then I assume some of class 5 and 6 students might be watching. So, for them it would be a kind of recapitulation because the content in a way is almost same, but then the sample poetry, prose and drama are taken from class 7, 8. Right. So, even though this is for grade 7 and 8, class 5 and 6 students can also watch, because then it would be in a way easier for you to kind of think about what you have learned in this first session and then kind of analyze and then compare and then think. So, your knowledge about or your understanding about poetry, prose and drama will only broaden. Okay. Since many of you, I don't know, might have watched our previous sessions and some might be new for this session. You might have missed the previous 3 sessions. So, just to let you know that today we are dealing with text structure and craft. So, Gedin Sargela in his session had done the recapitulation of previous week, as well as he had in a way helped you learn about the different text structure, importance of that, the purpose behind it, and then connecting it with what you have learned in our previous session on writing types. Okay. And I have in a way discussed about the major differences between poetry, prose and drama in my previous session, keeping class 5 and 6 students as the target class. Okay. So, for this particular session, I am again going to help you learn the major differences or the basic differences between poetry, prose and drama, keeping class 7 and 8 students in mind, because my focus would be this particular group of students. So, this is applicable for senior students as well. Okay. And even class 5 and 6 students can watch as a kind of recapitulation for of what they have already learned in the previous session. All right. So, text structure and craft. So, kinds of text. So, poetry, prose, drama. Okay. And prose is again divided into 2 major groups, that is narrative and expository. And then we have in narrative you have fictional and non-fictional, and in expository we have all the other kinds that Gedin Sargela had discussed, problem, solution, cause and effect and all that. Okay. So, these are the kinds of text, because why this is important is that every day you come across different kinds of text, right? When you do reading, or even when you do reading a newspaper, or you read a magazine, novel or any other things, right? You come across different text structure. So, it is very important that you understand how each you can say genre of writing is different. Okay. So, the different kinds of text, and then in order to identify, there are certain things that you need to understand. Okay. The main thing is the structural elements that in a way differentiate these major, you can say, genre, okay, of literature, poetry, prose and drama. Okay. So, if you look at this table, poetry, prose, drama. So, this in a way gives you a kind of you can say an idea about how these 3 are different. So, poetry, it is written in lines, prose written in sentences, whereas drama, it is written in acts and scenes. You find acts and scenes in drama. And poetry is a group of, like here in poetry, groups of lines form stanzas, whereas in prose, group of sentences make paragraphs. And in drama, dialogues and stage directions form the script. So, in poetry you have beats or rhythm. Okay. In prose we have chapters, in drama we have characters and dialogues. So, characters where we include the narrator as well, okay, cast of character. So, in poetry what you find is most of poetry pieces rhyme. So, we find rhyme in most of the poems. And in like prose is a regular writing, okay, not much of decoration. Okay. It is a plain, you can say an ordinary form of writing. Drama begins with the cast of character. So, this just helps you get an overview of These three, okay, poetry, prose and drama. So points to remember, this is about poetry, okay. So written in lines and stanzas. Ideas are contained in lines that may or may not be sentences, okay. In poetry we find lines. So lines may be a complete sentence or it may not be a complete sentence. So lines are arranged in stanzas like sentences in paragraph, okay, in case of prose. The language of poetry is more expressive or decorated with comparisons, rhyme and rhythm contributing to a different sound and feel. So when you read a piece of poetry and when you read a piece of prose, the feel is different. Okay, what makes this difference? The way the writer, the poet has in a way structured or chosen words, okay, and how they have in a way expressed, that all makes a difference, okay. The literary devices used, okay, so meter, the rhythm, so everything in a way contributes to the sound and feel. So what you need to remember is the language of poetry is more expressive or decorated. Okay, since you are now reading in grade 7 and 8, you all are well aware of simile, metaphor, imagery and all the other poetic devices, isn't it? So these are all the elements that adds to the beauty of poem. I'm saying poem, that is American accent. Poem, poem, British accent, not poem. We don't have to produce the sound of ya, okay. P-O-E-M. So you will find two different ways to pronounce depending on which accent you are using. Okay, the British accent is poem, im, I am im, poem, poem. Okay, poem. The American accent, poem, not im, poem, poem. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, so let's look at the slide. It's poetry and its purpose. So poetry is a literary work in which the expression of feelings and ideas is given intensity by the use of distinctive style and rhythm. I told you the way the poets choose to write the poem in a way, or poem, okay. So the expression is stronger compared to prose, okay. Feelings and ideas, they are given the intensity. How it is made more intense is by the use of the distinctive style and rhythm. Purpose, to entertain. The purpose of poetry is to entertain, to express a thought or feeling. This is what you do, right? Because you also write poetry, isn't it? Your teacher sometimes tells you to write poem. So what do? You express your thought or your feeling. Right. Poetry is a powerful expression of your thought and feelings, a spontaneous flow of your emotions. So in so many different ways, poetry is defined. Okay. So if you talk about, so many poets have their own way of defining poetry. Okay. So just to help you understand, the purpose is to entertain, to express a thought or feeling. Okay. So having learned about you can say the things that in a way defines a poetry, okay, we will look at a sample. So this is something I have taken from Khachepalu's Namtar, okay, Khachepalu Namtar. So human nature, this is a verse, okay. This world is like a mirror into which we all look at each other. Human existence is like an echo. We keep answering each other. Where you looked is reflected in the mirror. What you have said is echoed back by the hills. A kindly deed is repaid with a kindly deed. An unkindly deed is repaid with an unkindly deed. This is how the cycle of life goes on. So you see, I have highlighted some of the words here. It's a very powerful verse, isn't it? So this world is like a mirror. What you see is the world is compared to a mirror, isn't it? Using a simile. So, and then this mirror rhymes, okay, you find later, right, into which we all look at each other. Human existence is like an echo. So the very existence of ourself in this world is like an echo, right? So we keep answering each other. Where you looked is reflected in the mirror. So powerful, isn't it? What you have said is echoed back by the hills. So this is like what you sow, so shall you reap, isn't it? So a kindly deed is repaid with a kindly deed. An unkindly deed is repaid with an unkindly deed. So this is how the cycle of life goes on. So I felt this is a very powerful one, and this is a kind of like verse. So you need to remember, is a verse you can take as a sentence, or sometimes it can be a stanza itself. Okay, like you have 8 verses of mind training, Lojong Tsigema, right? This is again verse. So this is something I have taken from this book. You see, Kajipalu's Advice on the Art of Living, translated by Dawa Norbu. And this is a publication of Library of Tibetan Works and Archives. Okay, so Kajipalu Namdar. So in this you have so many verses that in a way tells you or gives advice on the art of living. So this particular verse I have taken from this book. So I found this very powerful. Okay. All right, next look at another sample. So you might be remembering this, particularly class 8 students, right? This is from class 8's textbook, NCERT. Okay, the ant and the cricket. So I particularly love this poem, okay, because this is poetry in the form of a fable as well. So in my previous session, you remember when we discussed about narrative writing, we talked about a fable, isn't it? Where animal characters are there and conveys a strong message, isn't it? There's a moral lesson hidden in the story. So this poem itself in a way is a fable. Okay, you see the character ant and cricket, and it conveys a strong message. But this one is written in, the story is written in poetic form, okay, in poetry. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm, sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. So if you look at the highlighted part, sing, spring, home, come. Not a crumb to be found. Okay, here I just want you to focus on the pronunciation. Not a crumb is wrong. Okay, if you say crumb, you are making a mistake in pronouncing the word. Since the letter M is followed by B, okay, B. So B becomes silent. Okay, not a crumb to be found, like numb, dumb. Okay, we don't stress on the word letter, sorry, B. So B is silent. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? So you can see how poets play with the word. So what you need to remember here is poets have a lot of freedom. Okay, see, not a crumb to be found. You don't find any punctuation marks after that, isn't it? Not a comma, not a period, but still we can break it. This is the liberty. This is the kind of freedom poets enjoy. They have this. So you can see the line break. Not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. If this was a piece of prose, then there shouldn't be a break. Okay, not a crumb to be found on the snow-covered ground. It has to go straight. Okay. So since this is a piece of poetry, you will see such things. Okay. Not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. And then if you look at the last line, oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? Now, if this same line is to be written in prose, if you find this in prose, it would be different. Okay. Oh, what will become of me, says the cricket. This should be the tone, or this should be the way, isn't it? Oh, what will become of me, says the cricket. So there was no need of separating of me in another inverted comma, isn't it? But the poet has intentionally done this so that sea, tree and me rhymes in order to form a particular rhyme here. Okay, that's why the poet has chosen to do this. Clear? What will become, says the cricket, of me? Because if you write, oh, what will become of me, says the cricket, then you find that the word cricket will not rhyme with sea and tree. Okay, so this is another way of writing the, you can say, poetry piece. A 4-line stanza, and the second one is a 5-line stanza. At last by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant, to see if, to keep him alive, he would grant. So bold, cold, right? The rhyme. Ant, grant. So let's see what happens. He would grant him shelter. See, usually in a prose style, so we won't keep this much space here, sorry. To see if, to keep him alive, he would grant him shelter from rain should go continuously. But since this is a piece of poetry, the poets have the liberty here. Him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain, rain and grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow. So borrow tomorrow, sorrow. In the previous part also you found that you can say the stanza with 5 lines, the last 3 lines rhyme in a way. Okay, the end rhymes we find here. Says the ant to the cricket, I'm your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. Friend, lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. See, by, I, friend, lend. And you will see the way the question was asked. When the weather was warm, quoth the cricket, not I. See the question, but tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? There's a line break so that there is a rhyme. Okay. My heart was so light that I sang day and night, for all nature looked gay. You sang, sir, you say. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Okay, light, night, gay, say, away. Again you will find in the last line, the way the poet has written this. Go then and dance the winter away should be the way if it was a prose. Okay. But in order to make it rhyme, so the poet has written this way. Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket, and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable, I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have 4 legs, and some have 2. And I guess, who are the crickets having 2 legs? Human beings, okay? So, wicket, cricket, true, 2. So, this is how poets play with words in a way, and then it in a way appeals to your senses, your imaginations, isn't it? This is adapted from Aesop's fable, and this is a poem I have taken from grade 8 English textbook. And then I have one more sample. Meadow Surprises. Okay, I think this is from grade 7's English textbook. Meadows have surprises. You can find them if you look. Walk softly through the velvet grass and listen by the brook. See, look, brook. Okay, and again you will find the lines. Okay, so all see the whole thing is just one sentence, isn't it? There's just one full stop or one period or full stop at the end. Okay, but then you see 4 lines. Okay, that make up this stanza. You may see a butterfly rest upon a buttercup and unfold its drinking straws to sip the nectar up, cup up. Again, 4 lines making the stanza, and this is a whole sentence. This is just one sentence. You may scare a rabbit who is sitting very still, though at first you may not see him. When he hops, you will, still will. Okay, 4 line stanza. A dandelion whose fuzzy head was golden days ago has turned to airy parachutes that flutter when you blow, echo and blow. Okay, the rhyme you can see. Explore the meadow houses, the burrows in the ground, a nest beneath tall grasses, the ants' amazing mound. See, ground and mound. Oh, meadows have surprises. So you see I have highlighted this in pink because this is the line with which the poem begins, right? So this is a refrain, poetic refrain, okay? And many things to tell, you may discover these yourself if you look and listen well, tell well, okay? So this is I think 2 sample poetry pieces from your textbook, class 7 and 8 English textbook and CRT, okay? And then we will look at prose, sorry. So it is the ordinary form of spoken or written language. It is made up of sentences and paragraphs without any metrical or rhyming structure, okay? Unlike poetry. So in poem you have this rhyming structure, right? The metrical structure which is missing in prose. The language of prose is typically straightforward without much decoration. Okay, so what is the purpose of a prose? To inform, to entertain, to persuade, to describe. Okay, so elements of a prose. I feel like I missed the slide, right? Elements in a piece of poetry. So in poetry you have rhythm, you have the line, stanzas, repetition, okay, the theme, rhythm and meter also, that all makes the elements of a poetry. Okay, I felt like I missed that slide. Okay, so elements of a prose. So character. So like in a story you have character, setting, plot, point of view. So you, because in prose like you have fiction and non-fiction as well, story is also a part of prose, that's why you have the kind of same elements, theme and mood. Okay, these are the elements of a prose. That is something that you will find in a piece of prose. So a sample prose again I have taken from your English textbook, and this is from the chapter The Best Christmas Present, I think. And I have highlighted this in 2 colors because this shows 2 different paragraphs. Okay, this is an extract taken from the chapter The Best Christmas Present Ever. I think it's from class 8. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of the frieze officer who approached me, hand outstretched. Hans Wolf, he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. I am from Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. Captain Jim Macpherson, I replied, and a happy Christmas to you too. I'm a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. See, straightforward, right? The way you talk, you speak. It's not a poetry element of poetry here, okay? So this is a piece of prose. You can easily identify the way it is structured, okay? Another one, this is I think from grade 7's textbook, the three questions, okay? The title of the chapter is, the thought came to a certain king that he would never fail if he knew 3 things. So this is a kind of story, isn't it? These 3 things were, what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? What is the most important thing for him to do? The second paragraph, right? I told you like prose, you have sentences that make a paragraph. So see, the first paragraph made of some sentences, the second paragraph. The king, therefore, sent messengers throughout his kingdom, promising a large sum of money to anyone who would answer these 3 questions. Many wise men came to the king, but they all answered his questions differently. So this is a sample prose. You see, everything is straightforward. The most common form of writing you see is, okay. So not you can say you don't find any metrical structure here. There's no rhythm, okay. No flow in a way like the rhythm or no musical element here. So this is a sample of, this is a piece of prose. Okay, now let's look at drama. Drama is a piece of writing that tells a story. It is performed on a stage and uses dialogue. Okay, so usually in drama and play, what we find? You have characters delivering their dialogue, okay, and you have the props and costumes. It is a performing art in which actors use dialogue and actions to tell a story or convey a message. So as the purpose of drama, same, like see, you might have noticed the common thing. between poetry, prose and drama. So entertain is there. Okay, one purpose is to entertain the readers or the viewers if it's a drama, to communicate thoughts and ideas, to communicate emotions and feelings, to share human experience, to present visual and oral experience for the audience. Okay. Okay, just quickly go through it. The purpose of drama. Okay, entertain, right? Communicating thoughts and ideas, communicating emotions and feelings, sharing human experience, presenting visual and oral experience to the audience. Okay, these are the purpose of a drama. So these are also important because you identify in a way when you look at the text structure why authors choose to write in this particular way. Okay, keeping in view the purpose. Okay, elements of a drama, acts and scenes. Like in story, you have characters, setting, plot. Like in prose, okay, point of view, theme, mood. So in drama, you have acts and scenes, you have characters, you have narrator, then setting, dialogue, stage direction, script. So these are the elements of a drama. So in a drama, you will find all these things. Okay, in the play script, you find acts. Like in prose, we have different chapters, isn't it? When you read a novel or you can say a piece of fiction, you have the chapters, chapter 1, chapter 2. Okay, so in drama you have scene 1, scene 2. Like in one act you may have 2-3 scenes. Okay, so scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, like chapters in a prose. Then you have characters, narrator, setting, where this drama is actually happening. In story also, like you have setting. Then you have dialogue, that is the kind of things that the characters will say, right? And then stage direction, that tells the actors what to do. Okay, and then you have the whole script. So what are the points to remember? Name of the characters is written in bold and on the left side. A colon is used between the character's name and the dialogue. Stage direction is written in brackets or italic. Scenes in drama are like chapters in prose. Okay. Now, if you just look at this, like I told you, the stage direction is written in italic and in brackets. So you will see when the curtain rises. Okay, this is a drama. So I couldn't find any drama pieces from grade 7 and 8 textbook. So I found this from grade 9's textbook. So if not now, later when you reach class 9, you will see this. Okay, the title of the drama is If I Were You. Okay, so because I just wanted you to see how a piece of drama looks like, where there's a scene, where you have the stage directions, then the characters written. That's why I have taken this one from grade 9's textbook. Okay, so if you look at the slide. So scene is the description, how the stage would look like when you are performing, because I told you drama is a story enacted in front of audience, isn't it? So this is the scene. See, even when you have inter-house, you can say cultural shows where you have drama, or maybe intra-class or inter-class, you have this stage setting, isn't it? So the scene is a small cottage interior. So this is how the stage would be decorated. There is an entrance back right, so which may be curtained. So you may or you may not use a curtain. Another door to the left must be a practical door. So these are the things you don't find in poetry or prose. Okay. So the furniture is simple, consisting of a small table towards the left, a chair or two, and a divan rather upstage on the right. On the table is a telephone. So this is how the scene would look like. Okay, and then the second part that is written in bracket is the stage direction. When the curtain rises, Gerard is standing by the table making a phone call. He is of medium height and wearing horn-rimmed glasses. So the actor, Gerard, the person who is taking the role of Gerard should be like standing by the table, okay, because this is the stage direction. Okay, he should be standing by the table making a phone call, and he should be wearing a horn-rimmed glasses because this is the direction. Okay, he is dressed in a lounge suit and a grey coat. His voice is cultured. So this is the direction the actor needs to follow. Okay, Gerard, now this is his dialogue. Well, tell him to phone up directly. I must know. This ... means you have to keep a pause. Yes, I expect I'll still be here. Why do you think this is made? Because he is on a phone call, isn't it? Okay, so he must be in between, he must be listening to the other person. That's why you should keep a pause here. Yes, I expect I'll still be here, but you mustn't count on that. Pause, right? In about 10 minutes time. Righto, goodbye. Okay, now this is the stage direction, what Gerard should do. Okay, he puts down the phone and goes to the divan. So this is not something to be read by the narrator or the actor or the characters in the story or drama. Okay, this is something the actors need to follow, not to be read, not to be spoken. Okay, so that's why it's put in bracket. He puts down the phone call and goes to the divan on the left where there is a travelling bag and starts packing. Whilst he is thus engaged, another man, similar in build to Gerard, enters from the right silently, revolver in hand. So he should be holding that, right? He is flashily dressed in an overcoat and a soft hat. He bumps accidentally against the table, and at the sound, Gerard turns quickly. So this is the stage direction, how the actors need to perform at that point of time. So again you find, see the characters' names are written in bold. Gerard is written in bold and you find a colon, isn't it? This is how you need to identify. Okay, oh, this is a drama. Okay, script. Pleasantly. So Gerard should not be speaking this word pleasantly. Okay, rather he should be behaving pleasantly. Okay, this is written in italic in bracket. So Gerard should be behaving pleasantly, not angrily. That's why this particular word is used, pleasantly. Why? This is a surprise, Mr. Because he doesn't know the person, right? Means you want to say something. And the intruder, I'm glad you are pleased to see me. I don't think you will be pleased for long. Put those paws up. So this is all very melodramatic, not very original perhaps, but okay, but that means he is interrupted by the intruder because he is not able to finish his line. Trying to be calm and nonchalant is your word, I think. Thanks a lot. You'll soon stop being smart. I'll make you crawl. I want to know a few things. See? Okay. So this is how a drama would look like. Okay? A play script would look like. This is just to help you get an idea about. And so this way you will be able to identify a piece of poetry, prose and drama. Okay, so in a poetry what do you find? Yes, lines, stanza. Okay, you have rhythm, right, meter. So in prose you have sentences making into paragraph, then you have chapters, and in drama you have acts and scenes, you have dialogues and characters, and then the scene would be similar to chapters in a prose. Okay, and in drama what are the things you will look at? Okay, the characters would be written on the left side in bold letters. Okay, and then between the dialogue of the character and the name of the character you have to use colon. Okay, and then what else did you learn? You learned that the stage direction is written in italic or in put in a bracket, and this is something that the characters have to follow. Okay, not speak or deliver. Okay, so since I missed the elements of poetry in the beginning, I don't know how this slide got deleted, so I'll just help you here, okay, to just get an idea, because we discussed the elements of prose, we discussed the elements of drama, but I think we missed the elements of poetry. Okay, so I'm just writing it here. Elements of poetry. Okay, so what we need to remember is, what are the elements of poetry? You have line, okay, lines or line breaks you can say. You have stanza, okay, lines, stanza. You have rhythm, you have meter, you have rhymes, okay, repetition, okay, yes, you have theme as well. Mood can be also one element. Okay, line, stanza, rhythm, meter, rhyme, okay, repetition, theme. Okay, so what you need to remember is, see, lines, not sentences. Okay, like the poetry pieces, the sample poems that you just looked. So where you see that the whole sentence is divided into 4 lines, isn't it? So each line, okay, this line break, and then number of lines make a stanza. Okay, so that's, I think, easy for you to understand since you are 7 and 8, right? Stanzas, okay, the lines are group. Okay, so the lines, a stanza can be formed of 4 lines, 5 lines, 6 lines, it depends, or sometimes 3 lines as well. And then 2 stanzas are separated by a line space. Okay, there is a blank line in between that divides the 2 stanza. Okay, then rhythm. So I remember telling class 5 and 6 students about rhythm. Rhythm means the beat. Okay, so like lines is the group of words that, okay, written in one row. Okay, line is the group of words written in a row. Okay, and stanza is a group of lines form a stanza. Rhythm is the beat. Okay, that the beat you find in poem. That is the flow of sound. Will you remember? See, for class 5 and 6 students, I only explained rhythm. So I felt a meter would be a little more, you can say, high for them. So 7 and 8 students, I need you to learn this, rhythm and meter, because they both look very identical, but then they are not same. Okay. A meter can create rhythm. Okay, because see, rhythm is the flow of sound. What you need to remember is rhythm is the beat beat or the flow of sound. Okay, like I gave example of heartbeat. Our heartbeat, like in scientific way, like in science we say lub dub, or you say tick 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 tick. You have the beat, isn't it? Even our heart has. That's why it's called heartbeat, right? You have the beat, tick 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 tick. Okay, so in poetry you have this, and this is because of the stressed and unstressed syllables. Okay, that is the pattern, sound pattern. So meter is, whereas rhythm is the flow of sound, meter is the pattern in sound. Okay, the rhythmic pattern, you say, the pattern in sound. Okay, the pattern in sound is created by the stressed and unstressed syllable. Like when you read word or sentences, you find that some part of a word is stressed, whereas some part is unstressed. Stress is usually longer. Okay, and then you have rhymes, that is the similar, you can say, and like you have tall, whole, you can say, right? Call, tall, so rhyme. Okay, meet, tweet. Okay, so these are all rhyme. Then repetition is a word, or lines, or you can say phrases that is repeated, like meadows have surprises. Okay, so meadows have surprises, meadows have surprises. If this is just the one line, then we can call it poetic refrain. But in the particular poem that we discussed, oh, meadows have surprises, and later on there was not oh, the oh is missing. We are using only the phrase meadows have surprises. Okay, so repetition can be a phrase, okay, or a line, okay, or a part of that is repeated. Theme is the message conveyed by the poem or poem. Okay, the message or the lesson in the poem. So I think lines, stanzas, rhymes, repetition, theme, you would easily identify, right? So this would be little tricky, rhythm and meter. If I just give you another example, like one simple one I just told you, the heartbeat, right? Tick, 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 tick. There's a beat. Okay, this is the rhythm. Okay. Now, if you talk about stressed and unstressed syllable, so when you grow older, like we are in higher classes, I think you will be learning more about all such depths about poetry. Okay, you have iambic meter, how the poets choose different, you can say, metrical structure in their poem by the kind of, you can say, patterns in the stressed and unstressed syllable. So, if we can just take a simple example. Okay, if you remember the rhyme, nursery rhyme, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Remember that? See, if I just write, just writing it like this, okay? Jack fell down. Okay, so what do you see here? Again, so you see water and after, right, you rhyme. Okay, Jack and Jill went up the hill. You find internal rhyme, isn't it? Jill, hill. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So, if I break it this way, then it would be A, B like that. Okay, Jack and Jill, I can write it this way also. So, right now my focus is more on the rhythm or the meter here. See, Jack and Jill. So, what you will see is this one is stressed, Jack and Jill. So, I won't stress much on this. Okay, Jack and I won't stress much on this, Jack and Jill. So, I am stressing on Jill. Okay, Jack and Jill went up the hill. I am stressing here, stressing here. So, that makes the beat. Okay. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So, that's why you see there's a musical element here. Okay, it's Jack and Jill. So, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. Jack and Jill went up the hill. See, when I'm not stressing on this, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail. Stressed. This is unstressed. Okay, fetch a pail of water. Okay, this is fetch a pail of water. Okay, this is stressed. This is not stressed. Water, 2 syllable. Water is 2 syllable word, right? You have 2 syllable. Water, water. So, fetch a pail. So, these are all 1 syllable word. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch 1 syllabic word, right? Fetch a pail of water. Water is a 2 syllabic word, 2 syllable, water. So, wa is stressed, whereas ter is not stressed. To fetch a pail of water, Jack fell down. So, again this is stressed. Jack fell down, okay, and broke his stressed crown, stressed, okay, and Jill came tumbling. Again 2 syllable word, right? Tumbling. Jill came tumbling after. Again stress and stress. Okay, stress. Okay, so this is what is called meter of a poem or poem. Okay, meter. So there's the pattern in sound. Pattern in sound is created by the stressed and unstressed syllable. Okay, and the rhymes. Jack and Jill. So I'm just giving this example so that you remember it. So where to stress, where not to stress, and that is why the stressed and unstressed syllable creates a beat. Okay, Jack and Jill went up. We don't stress all the time. Okay, Jack and Jill, and it's not a Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. So that is why this musical touch is there, isn't it? Because of this meter. That is the pattern in the sound. And the pattern in the sound is created by the stressed and unstressed syllables. Okay. So I hope this is clear now. Rhythm is the flow of the sound. Tick, 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 tick. Like the flow is Jack and Jill. And okay. And how is this flow created? Because of the pattern. Okay. So the beat is quite related in a way. So these are the elements of poetry. And I just wrote it here because I just missed the slide. And by now I hope you have understood the major differences between poetry, prose and drama. So next time whenever you happen to read any type of writing, any piece of writing, try to look at the structural element in order to differentiate whether this is a piece of poetry, a piece of prose or a piece of drama. Okay. So tomorrow we will be discussing on oral presentation and listening skills, rather active listening skills. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Thank you.